Hey y'all, what's good? Welcome back. Welcome back, guys. You probably just rolled right on over from episode 2.
Yo, I got 2 episodes. Woo.
You need to calm down. Nah, you need to calm down. I'm gonna have people telling me, what about me? How did he get 2? You haven't seen him around in a while.
What's that?
Okay, episode 3, right here with my boy Derrick Wilson. It's life after college. We're gonna get into that. We're gonna talk about what we thought life after college was gonna be. What we actually did go through with life after college. And then what we learned from life after college. We're going to hit those 3 topics right here on episode number 3.
Yopes.
Life after college.
Let's go.
Bring it on in, boy.
Man. Well, first of all, I'm Derrick J. Wilson. You can follow me on Instagram at Derrick J. Wilson. I want to thank you for letting me even sit on your platform. I mean, honestly, I can't even do this type of stuff. I want to, but you know that I don't know. You got that. You got that grit that makes you just go and do shit. And I think that that's impeccable.
Thank you. I act fast because if I think about it, it won't happen.
Yeah,
so I have to move
that's
quick.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
I got a whole vision board up in here that ain't going nowhere. But no, for real, college, man.
That's where we met.
College did. And it's so crazy because anybody who goes to college will tell you that they had such a plan for themselves after. Mm-hmm. After college, everybody will tell you, oh, I was supposed to be this, I was supposed to be that. You
Preach.
know. And then in college, you know, you're so worried about your teachers because they're telling you this is what you need so you can work for someone. You know, obviously that's structured through whatever your major is, obviously, you know, but most professors are teaching you how to be a good employee. You know what I mean? When were the basics of how am I going to do this by myself? Or not really like that. They say it's possible, but it wasn't really that was preached.
Yeah.
Like, how can I be self-employed?
Yeah. 100, man. You know, nowadays, me and Ricardo, we talk about how when we have kids, we're not going to tell them they need to go to college because my college experience versus his, totally 2 different elements.
Yep.
And whatever it is you decide you want to do, this will be our conversation to our future children if they ever listen in. Me and your father would just want to encourage you to do what you're passionate about, but also be wise about the connections and the mentorship that you need to look for.
Dang.
That's the only advice we can give because you don't know someone's true potential unless they go out and do it. And you can fail 20 times at something that you love, but still have the audacity to get up and say, well, I'll try something new. But if you fail at something you hate and you already despised it before you began, you just grow dark. You go dark because you're just so miserable that you even tried that last bit of juice in you and it didn't work out. But yeah, I know right now we just kind of deep dived right in and kind of gave people the reality of like what
Straight
college
up.
is like, right? But what was your mindset before you started college? What did you think college was going to be like?
I honestly went to college because of my parents' pressures. I didn't go for my own, and not even just my parents, but also for what we all know is the fear of missing out. The fear of, you know, what would people say about me if I didn't go to college? You know, am I less knowledgeable because I don't have a degree? So, now, don't get me wrong. I appreciate my degree. I appreciate the knowledge that I have learned, and I'm continuing to learn. But most of my learning has developed after.
I feel you on that. 100. FOMO, man.
FOMO.
It's real.
It's
It is so real. I think me, before I went into college, I wanted to go 100%. I was just like that high school prep who was like in all the damn clubs. I was a cheerleader and in theater and in ASB. And
not all the same. I played football.
You were football. I was a cheerleader. But I think going into college, I had this mindset that's like, I'm going to graduate in 3-4 years tops. I'm going to get cum laude and da-da-da-da.
Masters.
Yeah, I'm going to go straight into a master's. I'm going to get a PhD. And when I started college, it was the first damn wake-up call. I started at 17.
Same.
I turned 18 into the school year.
When's your birthday?
August.
Okay, yeah,
November. Yeah, so we're both late.
So I was like, I thought you were older than me. You said 25 in the last episode. I was like,
Nah,
oh. So
yeah.
you cleared it up.
I
was
cleared
glad
that
you
up in
said-
episode 2.
Is she
Wait a
skipping-
minute now.
Did she still hold herself back in life? You 25?
She really
How'd
lost
she
in
do
her
that?
emotions. She got herself a year behind. I could do that too. I could be a comedian.
Yeah. Anybody can do anything they want to do. 100%.
That's right. I started college with that mindset of like, I know what I'm going to be. I know what I'm going in for. This is going to be a breeze. I was straight A's in high school. I could do it here in college. Whoo, what a lie it was, child. I started,
Child. She
yeah,
said child.
literally, child. I was 17 years old, started a university. I didn't even go to community. I went straight into a university.
And why was that? I mean,
I got accepted.
same.
Yeah.
But it's the same education as the junior college
It is.
for the first 2 years. Mm-hmm. That's why when I went into university, I was so mad. I'm like, let me just finish this major. I don't want to take biology.
Mm-hmm.
It's not what I'm here for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Why is it that's the maximizers within society that tell you got to go and get into a university and join a fraternity and do all that stupid.
Did you join?
No,
Oh,
I didn't.
okay.
I'm not paid for my friends. No offense to anybody, but that's offense to some people. But
Yeah, some people got hurt right
Cut
now.
that out.
Jeez. I was even like, ooh, I know some folks that are still
I
really.
know you didn't.
No, I didn't. The one thing I did lean into was theater. And so I started doing theater because when I went in at 17, I wanted to be a playwright. I wanted to be a script writer. I wanted to get my degree in English so that way I can write all my own Christian films. That was my dream at 17 and 18. Yes, and then reality happened. Not today. And literally, sophomore year is when I switched my major.
Yeah.
Sophomore year, I switched it to communications because, do you remember Professor Jose Rivera? Did you ever meet him?
Well, he was cool.
He was dope in the comms department.
Yeah.
Because you have to take all those damn GEs in the first year, which is totally annoying. One of those GEs was public speaking. And I was like, I got this. I've been public speaking for how long now? And I went in there and learned how to actually properly do public speaking. And my mind was blown. I was like, and I thought I had this all under cover. That was my first realization that, like, you don't got it all. You don't got your shit together. You don't know what you're doing. You're still a child. Allow yourself to grow. Don't think just because you're walking on a university that you're any better than the people that are still at the high school that you got their numbers in their phone right now.
But you did, though.
But I did. And
I
how
did
quickly
too.
how quickly that stooped me back down. And I needed that.
But even when you would talk to them, they feel like they would. Like, one of the things that I would always ask people who weren't in college is like, oh, how you doing? Or not even like that, but like even if they weren't in college, they'd be like, oh, but I'm gonna go to school.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's what I was expecting them to say.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because for a while I felt like me going to school made me better, like you were saying.
Yeah. Just something happens. Something happens in you and you just turn on that. You just turn that on and you're just like, okay, calm down. It was just literally sophomore year. Or actually, no, freshman year. I hadn't even met you yet. I took public speaking, COM 120 at CSUSB with Professor Jose Rivera. And through that whole quarter, I was blown away on the knowledge and just the wisdom that he poured into his students. Yeah. And so at the end, we had to do a public speaking type of thing. That was our final. So I went up, I said what I had to say, and then I got an A in it. And I was like, yay, woohoo. But when I was leaving, Jose's like, I need to talk to you for a second. And I'm like, oh, shoot, maybe I did it wrong, whatever. And he's like, you're really good at this. You know how to really take, ownership of the room, and you know how to talk to people and make them feel so involved and important. And I was like, oh, thanks. But I was like 17 receiving this. And so I was like, cool. Well, all right. And still very childlike mentality. And I was just like, I don't really know what he's getting at this. But he said, you should consider possibly maybe going into the comms department to explore what you can do in that area with your degree. And I was like, I'm going to be a playwright. I'm going to write all my own plays and make Christian films for the whole world to see. I want to be the next Tyler Perry. But I want to be the female version. And then he smiled, and I remember he was like, Desirae, ooh, this is going to get deep because it pierced me. And even now at 26, I'm like, damn, it's still good. He looked at me. At a 17-year-old girl, wide-eyed, really proud, spiritually, mentally, physically, and immaturely, conceitedly proud that she was in a university first in her family and everything.
Same.
And he said, life is conceptual and in the moment. I want you to remember that. And I was like, Okay, thanks. And then I went about my merry way. I couldn't shake what he shared with me. I just couldn't shake it off of me. Then the next quarter came, and I went out and filled out the paper and switched from an English major into a comms communications major, and had no idea where the hell it would go. So here I go and knock, knock, knock on Jose's door. Hey, what are you doing here? This ain't your floor. And I'm like, so what do you do? And he's like, well, I was like, what do you teach? He's like, I teach public relations. Okay. Filled out the paper right in front of him. He's like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm going to go into the public relations field. He's like, why? You got to make your own decisions. And I was like, because wherever you're teaching, I want to be under that same leadership because I really look up to you. And that was my first introduction to mentorship, honestly, ever. And he didn't really argue it because he was like, well, you're still so young. You can switch it up later if she decides to change her mind. And then I spent the next 4.5, 5 years in the communications department with a public relations degree. And then in the last year, I was like, well, shoot, if I'm going to be here as a 5th year, I better walk home with a 2nd degree. So I was able to match my units, or whatever we called it back then, to get a 2nd degree. So I ended up getting public relations and mass comm. Now, through that whole college experience, I was actually there 5 years, 2010, and I graduated in 2015. So in that whole 5-year experience, I met you, I met my comm cuties, Brittany Carollo, Brittany Crow, Alasia.
Shout out.
Yeah, and Angie, man, those were my girls. And Erica Bice. Oh, my goodness. Those were like my people in college. And you. And Ryan Libby. Yeah, I just switched my degree, spent those 5 years. And that whole middle area, again, that we always talk about, I was up and down, learning what works, what doesn't, experiencing life. I don't know about you, but when you were in college, you were full-time like me. I remember that. But were you working too?
Yeah.
Dude, how did we do it? I had 3 jobs.
Commuting, working.
How did we do it? Like,
You had 3 jobs.
I had 3 jobs. I had 3 jobs, a full-time student, and I was writing for the school newspaper.
Yeah. I mean, it was something that we had to do. That's, for me, I had to do it.
Yeah.
And that's why it made my grades kind of suffer, though. Sometimes, because I didn't have time to be in the office hours. I didn't have time to be at school, only for class. But hey, I had to pay them loans, which is another thing about the aftermath.
I'm still paying them loans. Come on. Can I get monetized for this, please? Because I got to pay these loans.
Can somebody CSUSB, let me get my refund?
Can I just click refund on that?
I didn't get a job. No,
yeah.
No, but loans, that's a big thing. And like you said about going into college at 17. When I was 17 years old, I was making serious life decisions that I didn't even know about.
That right
You know
there,
what I mean? I was signing up for federal loans that were going to have interest up the yin-yang, like interest that's been doubled, that's been, I went through a time in my life, and this is being very vulnerable to everyone. I mean, I couldn't pay my loans, and they went into default. Now they're in collections. At the end of the day, I have $50,000 in debt and that I signed up for at 17 because my parents said I need to go to college. Now, don't get me wrong. Again, I'm thankful that I went through it. I'm still thankful I'm getting my stuff in line now. But it's going to take a long time to pay that money off. I could have had 2 cars, really.
Yeah.
But
it's real. You know how many people are going to listen to this episode and go, me too, about that college situation with the finances? Yeah. I was 17 too, and the first in my family. And you know what my mom did? We looked at the loans together because I was like, Mom, I don't understand this. And my mom looks at it and goes, I don't know how we're going to pay this, so pull out both. I pulled out the subsidized and the unsubsidized. And me and her together read it, and I'm like, reading it like I know what I'm reading. And I'm like, so, Mama, you get it? And she's like, yeah, I think so. Yeah. Unbeknownst to my mom, and no offense to her, and it wasn't even her fault, she forgot that it wasn't supposed to roll into the 2nd year or the 3rd year or the 4th year or the 5th year. Yeah. I myself didn't even hold accountability to be like, Mom, am I still getting that unsubsidized loan? And I'm a 3rd year in college now. I never asked her because I just didn't know any better. And so when I collected my 2 degrees and I'm feeling real happy and proud and thinking I'm going to get that $60,000, $80,000 salary job, I think it was like 6 months later.
6 months.
Yeah, 6 months later, boom. And I was like, what the hell? What? I only took out the loan my freshman year because me and my mom didn't know how expensive college was going to be. Yeah. And first year you buy all of your books on campus, and then you start learning all the little side hustles how to get the books. And those books are expensive as hell, man. That was a
I
college.
didn't buy a book after like what
You're,
junior year.
yeah, you just stop buying them because you're like, I'll borrow
I'm going to
homeboys.
the library and make some copies.
Yep, exactly. But you didn't know that. My freshman year, I didn't know that, and my mama didn't. And I was the guinea pig for my entire family, and I learned.
Congratulations.
Thank you, bro. You were like the first two. You and your
No,
sister, right?
In my immediate family, one of 3 of 7 have a degree.
Man, bro, that's a lot of you guys.
Yeah, 3 of 7.
It's just me. That's a lot of pressure, though.
Yeah, it is.
It's a lot, just me.
It is.
I set the bar, and I also have to exceed that bar. It's ridiculous.
But for anybody listening too, I just want to say, I was very open about the my loans and going into collections, and just some insight on that. There is a forbearance program that people should take in, and you can defer your loans. Don't get so bogged down, and I was so stressed out. I thought it would go away in a way.
Yeah, it doesn't.
I just didn't deal with it, and that tacked on $14,000. So learn from my mistakes. If I can help anybody out there, just go and call them. Just call them. We'll defer them, and you won't even have to pay interest, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, that's a conversation for them to have with whatever loan department they got. As a matter of fact, I don't know that we're talking about loans. I think my payment just got pulled today because I set it up for like the automation for the payments because my lazy ass was forgetting, and then I'm having to pay for the late fees and all this stuff. And Ricardo's got debt, and I got debt, and we're both like, well, we're married now, so it's each other's debt, and it's this one big pile of college debt. And people are like, why aren't you guys having kids? Why don't you guys own a house already? Why don't you guys have a new car? And shouldn't you be focusing on this, and that? I'm like, we have like together maybe $20,000-$30,000 of college debt.
Wow.
Yeah, a kid could wait, a car could wait, shoot, a house could wait, because when we move into any of those little beautiful parts of our life and marriage together, we want to know we're coming in with a clean slate. Right. We don't want that to be carrying behind us. But yeah, like you said, anybody who's listening in who is in college and you are having to decide where you're going to come up with the money to pay for your tuition, there are grants available. Go and talk to your departments on campus, whatever academic department you need to go to. You can go in there. You can get grants nowadays for just being black with green eyes. Like, no lie, bro. I don't know why
I did not find those grants. I was looking. I was like, finally I get paid for this shit. And I'm looking, I didn't see that nowhere.
Yeah, I
nowhere.
mean, you just gotta find the
was
right.
It, Oprah?
Yep, Ellen. Where Ellen at?
Steve Harvey? Come on, somebody. Who was it? No,
there's so many different ways people can get grants now. Yeah.
It's worth it at the end.
And then they can get sponsored, too, by certain companies, which is wild. But nowadays, how many people...
But college loans is good debt. That's good debt. You did something, you went to college. Mine is getting cleared now. I just want to say that, too. You know what I'm saying? I ain't broke.
No mo.
No mo, but I was. You can go there, too. You know what I'm saying? Just don't think it's going to go away.
Yeah, you can get grants. You can get FAFSA.
Forgiveness programs.
Yeah, the forbearance thing that you mentioned. I should have done that. But
no, there's forgiveness programs too.
I've heard of that.
It's like half off.
Yeah, I heard of that.
Now.
But I'm like, man, it's been 2005, 16, like 4 years now? Almost.
Dang, we graduated in 2015, so yeah.
Mm-hmm. Our perception when going into college at 17 years old was this was either for family or for our own personal pride and ego. Because yours was for your family, mine was for my ego. And then while being in college, I was starting to get the wake-up call, like, I don't know crap. Yeah. I'm so young. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Yeah. I'm working all these jobs. I'm writing for the school newspaper. I'm trying to do my own little blog site and trying to keep straight A's all at once. Like, I don't know how I did all that, but I know that I did it to mask the fact that I was really hurting. The busier I was, the less I had to address that side of me. And that's why when we would have our conversations all the time, you and I would go deep. I would tell you, like, this is my troubles at home. And you're like, damn, girl, I had no idea you're dealing with all that stuff. And I'm like, yeah, that's why I'm here all the time. Yeah. That's why I choose to be on campus all day long so I don't have to go home to this. Right. And then you on the other end were like, I have to be here because it's the only way to prove to my parents.
Right. And it's funny because it started that way. Mm-hmm. And then I did find communications, and like I said, I even said it in my comedy show, public speaking was something I thought I had down packed, you know, and once you learn once they structure it, you realize that, oh shoot, maybe I'm not really doing it right.
Yeah.
You know, but it was a class that I took with, I forget her name, but it was a debate class. And that's when I really fell in love with communications a lot more than before. And you know, you're going to have those moments when you really find your major and you find, this is me. Like, I am good at this. And, you know, we can have open forum conversations, and it's learning.
I took that class too. Were we in it together at the same time?
I think so. Maybe not.
And she would have us split the classroom, and then we would just talk.
Yeah.
And then we'd all get to present what we thought. And then did you take her again when we had to write if we were like, what philosopher we sided with, like Immanuel Kant or whoever else?
Yes, that's the class.
Aristotle. Yeah, we had that class together. Yeah. Was that the same class you're talking about?
No, the debate was before. Wait. I took her twice. I know that.
I know. I took her several times. I mean, the comms department, there's only like a few comms teachers, so you're going to see them several times. And then Mary's class.
Dang. That just was perspective all the way.
I think we were 19 in that class, 19 or 20.
20 for sure.
Then if you were 20, I was 20 then. Yeah. Oh, man, that class. They never offered it again after that.
Really?
People couldn't take it.
We were blessed.
We were the first and the last, I think. I think she tried it again, and a lot of kids stopped showing up because it required them to go deep within themselves. And they weren't ready for it.
Issues like reincarnation, which is, it goes beyond knowledge because you're talking about religion in a way. You're talking about spirituality. And, you know, a lot of people, I'm more spiritual than religious a lot.
Right. Same.
And I liked her because she was taking it to a different place than I've heard before. She was talking about dipoles of your soul and stuff like that. And just
consciousness, enlightenment, awakening. Yeah.
It gets you into the beyond the falsehood that we live in our everyday lives. Because 100. There's so much deeper. There's so much else, I think. I will continue to think that.
Yeah, Mary's class and Jose and Donna, the only things I took away outside of college. Like, sure, I'll write a press release, but do I love it and do I enjoy it? Hell no. But what I learned from the wisdom and the way they sowed into us, like little plants just watering us, Mary, Donna, and Jose, life after college started to make sense only because of their wisdom. Not even what the textbook knowledge that they were giving us, but the wisdom they poured into us. Yeah, so life after college, man. Oh, we need a shot of whiskey, a hit of something.
And a stripper. Please, I'm trying to make it rain.
Life after college, bro. What happened?
On a serious note, life after college, ooh. Okay, it's and this is what all the people who haven't gone to college, they want to hear this part because.
Or they're gonna turn it off.
Or they're gonna turn it off. Well, because, you know, I'm personally a believer of knowledge, and that's it. I don't think a degree defines that. Do I have a degree? Yes. But just you know, was it PSA for anybody? Yeah. I don't think that going to college makes you better. I don't think anything like that. I think it makes you learn in a constructed way. But once I left college, man, woo! That's when I realized I've been focusing on these book smarts, and I got no street smarts. I moved to LA right after college.
Yep. Go into that, man.
No street smarts. I had none. There's a term called common sense. And being in college, you know, you're consistently a dreamer. You're consistently forecasting your life, and you think you're going to go in all different types of directions. And it takes you to leave that space and have your graduation. Everybody's so proud of you. They think you're going to be so successful to 6 months after, where nothing's really happening like how you thought. And you got to kind of go back to the drawing board after drawing a whole masterpiece. Like, think about it. Like, we spent 5 years doing something, and right when you graduate, my first job was Enterprise Rent-A-Car, because it actually required a degree.
They put it to use,
Right, you know, and I don't negate it because it got me to the job I have now, too, and the confidence I have now. But at the end of the day, through that trial, it was very hard, you know.
Go more into that, Derek, because there are people who graduated college and they're already moving to Los Angeles or moving out of the country, and they're gonna live alone for
Yeah.
the first time. Parents aren't around. They don't have their
It's hard.
spouse. Yeah, like go, because that's also very vulnerable of you to share too. Like you
Mm.
spent 4 or 5 years alone in LA. What was that like, living out there all alone? Like 4 or 5 years? How long has it been since you've been living in LA?
About 4 years. 4 years.
By yourself, and you were what, 23?
Yeah.
23.
Wow. Yeah. And it was a culture shock.
Mm-hmm.
Culture shock because I started a new job. I started, when you live by yourself, sometimes you even feel like you're your own prisoner inside your own house because, I come from a big family, so I wanted to take the opportunity after college to experience myself by myself. Every time I went home, I had someone around me. So it was crazy to go after college and to be so vulnerable and just be by myself.
Yeah.
It was rough. It was really rough to go home to yourself sometimes. That's when you falter in bad relationships and everything like that. And I think I've come to finally, I'm 26 now. I've finally come to a part where I love being by myself too much. But no, you just learn, and you realize that you're not perfect. And the whole college dream of becoming some kind of wise master and whatever, you got to really experience life.
Mm-hmm.
Life is the biggest teacher. That's honestly, like, in college, I was just trying to get the degree.
Yeah.
I wasn't really focused. I think if I went back now, I would have a better learning experience.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, after was crazy, just to deal with street smarts and try to really understand that not everybody is in that realm, because even when you go to college, you're around everyone who's in college.
Yep.
So you're all on the same plane. You're all thinking about the same thing. You guys are all identifying with each other.
Mm-hmm.
But then you go out into the real world, and there's all types of backgrounds out there.
Yeah.
It's not the safe little place anymore. You got to
Right.
be big boy Derrick. You
Yep.
got to, say it with your chest, little nigga. All that type of shit. You know what I mean? It was crazy. A lot of growth, but it came after, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Are you comfortable sharing an example of like one of those really troubling seasons while you were living on your own after college?
Troubling season for me was money. I come from a very not rich or anything, but my parents are of the middle class, and I've never really experienced trauma with money. I didn't think it was something that was serious. So when I moved out on my own, I was like, I got this.
Yeah.
It's easy. But then, I realized that, like, wow, bills, it's a big thing.
And they add up.
And not only is it, and I don't want to think that money derives my happiness, but in a way, when you're fending for yourself, it does.
Yeah.
We live in a society where money is very prevalent.
It's needed.
That you have to have money or you'll be on the street. I will never be on the street in my own self for my own pride. But, you realize that, damn, I am the only one who's going to make this happen.
Right.
You know what I mean? I have to go work.
That's real. That's real, man.
I have to go work. And that's a struggle for me because even though I had a job throughout college, I was still living at my parents' house. Very cushy. It was good.
Yeah.
Still had them loans coming in that I thought was financial aid. That shit ain't free, nigga.
It ain't, no.
Nah. But for real, I think that was one of the biggest struggles that I had. And then mixed with other things, dealing with friends and stuff like that, dealing with relationships and like, putting trust into people. And that's what I say about, and maybe I'm jaded in a way about oversharing. But at the end of the day,
Yes.
I think it's constructed who I am, and I'm not apologetic. And I think that I'm very happy to be this Derek Wilson after all the trials, after college,
Yeah.
after not having a job, doing Uber, sleeping in my car, trying to survive, going on audition after just audition and getting so much denial and reject, and going home to myself and just feeling, kind of like, damn,
Yeah.
why is nothing that I planned for me to happen happening?
Oh, so many people in that boat.
Why? I was pissed. I'm like, why? Why can't, why can't it just all go fall into place? It honestly wasn't until 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago,
Wow.
where I just going to a comedy show. And something told me, reach out to them, see what can happen. You know what I mean? This is something that I would have never thought I would be doing. And that's why the power of God, power of divine intervention, power of all that, because damn, you got to be okay with the fact you don't have control, I think. And that's what I learned about my past, aftermath of college, for sure.
That right there. Say it again, because I needed to hear that.
You have to be okay with not having control. It's the truth. It's control. I wanted to control everything. I wanted to make my own path. I'm like, there's paths in front of me, but I'm making rocks all around. At the end of the day, just be okay with God. Be okay with, Him putting things in your life, or whoever it is, your spiritual guide, your dog, whoever it is, whoever you talk to, whoever you go to. Just know that you don't have control. Live in the present moment every single day, and just be appreciative of the past and the future that can come.
That right there sums it up. That's Jose, what he said to me at 17, life is conceptual and in the moment. He was giving me the wisdom that we're talking about right now at this table, and I couldn't receive that at 17 because I was so full of myself, and I was so wide-eyed.
We all are.
Yeah, I believed in unicorns.
You did?
I mean, low-key, a little bit.
On the low-key.
A little bit.
On the low-key.
Man, bro, that's so good. That's so, so good. Thank you for going there and sharing that. That was real.
Thank you.
That was real. That was so real. I'm like, after this, I'm be like, you slept in your car? Why didn't you call? But
not like I was doing Uber, so
yeah, you're like,
I had a
let's take
home.
a break.
Yeah, I had a home, but like I couldn't stop. I had rent due the next day.
Yeah.
So I had to sleep real quick. I was, Uber, they say, oh, your career, you choose. No, they send your ass to San Diego. How the hell you going to get back? You ain't going to waste your money driving back. So I got one of those trips, and I was like, I'm not going to waste my money. I don't have money to go ahead and drive all the way back home and sleep.
Yeah.
I have to sleep in my car tonight.
Yeah.
It was a troubling experience. Because if you know me, and anybody knows me, I don't sleep in the woods. I don't... I don't do RVs, man. We stayed at resorts.
You're telling me when I said, what do you want to drink? Do you want water or coconut water? Ooh,
like,
bougie.
Yeah, because I've desensitized myself to bouginess and to having it all. And I'm good with being,
where you're at.
Where I'm at. I'm good. Like, even if I make no money off of it, which I mean, I'm good where I'm at also. But I know that.
You've been humbled. You've been
big
humbled.
Time. Grounded.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yep.
100%. And even grounded in finances, grounded in my spirituality, grounded in just me as myself and who I think I am. I thought I was so big. And I realized by going out into the world, I'm so small. So small. But I'm finding that strength again. And that's just real. I'm just going to be honest. Like, that's money. It does derive a lot of...
It does.
It's sad, but it's the truth.
It does. I can relate to that with me and my marriage. Oh, man, that's real. You just touched on so many things that whether someone is just like us, 4 or 5 years out of college, and they're not where they had intended to be, and the loans are still coming in. If there's anything that we can encourage you, I mean, I would just say lean into that. Don't run from it because it's not going anywhere. Lean into it and explore that. Go through that own self-exploration phase where you do have to have those days where you're rejected all day long in the morning, and then you come home to the silence of your own place where you're staying and have to go, why do I feel this way? And why am I upset that this is what I chose? One of the things people say is like manifestation, like when you say things out loud, then it comes to pass. And you're like, oh, yay, it happened. Life after college for me, man, I so badly thought that I was going to be a publicist in Los Angeles. And I really was like, that's me. I'm going to do it. I did it for a season. Yeah, I did a lot of stuff, bro. Now that I'm thinking about it, man, these past 4 years from college, I did so much. And in all of it, it was just like I wouldn't say doors were closing. Ricardo always says it's wrong opportunities. He always says Des is so good at what she does. She just gets presented with the wrong opportunities, and she takes them because that's who she is. She's a sweet girl, and she's like, sure, I'll do it. But it doesn't go big for her. And Ricardo told me like last month, you spent the past 5 years after college and since 2012 to now 2019, Ricardo's like, you've been managing online accounts and social media accounts and blogs and doing writing for people and helping them with all these things, and all of their platforms grow, but they never fully hire you on. Aren't you tired of working for everybody else and not building up your own platform? And like, damn, for your own husband to be that raw with you. And I'm like, I don't want a platform. I just want to be Dez. I just want to be becoming Ramirez. He's like, that's your platform. Yeah. You evolving from coming from, I think I got it all, to, oh shit, I don't got it, to now being assaulted, which is that reference of an ice cream cone that was already melting, and then throwing the cherry on top of it to make it look pretty and cute, and like, it's okay, the ice cream's still all right because the cherry's on top. You can still eat and indulge in this. Like, nah, fool, your thing is melting in your hand, and you're still thinking putting a cherry on top of it's going to make it any much better. Right. Like, that's what was happening to me, life after college. I was just falling apart. Childhood trauma started coming. Resentment I had towards Ricardo already living his dream and me not having that yet. Anger towards friends going distance on me that I thought were like my sangre, like my blood. Distance. No longer having a paper due that I can be accountable of to turn in. No longer having a professor that I could turn to and just talk to. All these ice cream melting moments were happening, and then the assault happens, and I'm just like, everything's fine, everything's okay. And when that whole situation happened, you know, finance struggles happened. I did the living in the LA thing, so I know what you're talking about when we say people are surfaced. And it also could be because we were attracting the wrong people because we went into it thinking we were those people. Yep. Yeah, message. Right. Yeah, right, a message. Right. Oh, seriously.
Message.
Yeah. Message. Yeah. Message.
Hey.
And
that's really cool. To be honest, I like what you just said about that's becoming Ramirez, because I honestly, like I said, I think I was biased just because I didn't know, I didn't know the full transition. I mean, I've met Ricardo like 2 times, but like just hearing things like, that's going on, it's just it's great. It's so great. I love. First of all, and I think that you guys, like the way that you guys help each other throughout this journey of your lives, that's awesome, man. Like that's something that, I look forward to. I find that girl, like, we're gonna do that, and I want to do that, and that's, you guys are inspirations to people, and I think that becoming a Ramirez does not negate who you've been, where you've come from. Right. It just makes the stance of who you are now being the most powerful self.
Oh yeah, thank you. Thank you for that. One of the things that, like, I had a girlfriend ask me the other day, this whole becoming Ramirez, this trademark is so dope, Des. I was like, yeah, my girlfriend Samar, who's one of my best friends that lives in New Jersey, she's the one who helped me come up with it. And it was, as soon as it rolled off her tongue, she's like, becoming Ramirez. She already knew that I was evolving from Contreras to Desiree before the wedding was even being planned. And so when she threw that out there, I was like, I like that. I'm going to take that. And as we're like, oh, for the hashtag, when the wedding comes around, y'all, this is what it is, I was still becoming Ramirez. And this is after college, after the assault, going into all these things together with Ricardo. And I told my girlfriend, back to like why she's like, Ramirez is like, why'd you choose Desiree Ramirez, whatever. I was like, I could have kept Desiree Contreras Ramirez, but Desiree Ramirez, I know her. Let me take this back. I know Desiree Contreras. Desiree Ramirez, I really like who she is, and I like who she's becoming, and I like that she's planted and grounded, and she knows her foundation, and she's not in the gray and in questioning all the time, and she's not manic anymore, and she's not suicidal. And this Desiree Ramirez, she's evolving into something pretty dope. And I always talk about myself in third person because it's uncomfortable for me to even admit sometimes. It's like Desiree struggles deeply, like I struggle hard, and then to be like, but I also have great successes. I have horrible losses, like horrible. But then I have really great wins. And I'm like, okay, God, like, come on, help a sister out. Yeah. But I need the extreme to the desperate because I would never know how to be humble in the center. I think that's just how law of attraction and divine intervention and everything works. And Life after college, man, you grow.
Wow.
You grow, you evolve, you mature, you become Wilson.
Come Ramirez.
Yeah, like
You gotta become, and you're always, and I like that you're always becoming.
you're always becoming.
Like he said, like we're Derrick 2.0, Derrick 3.0, Derrick. There's more.
Yeah.
Oh, there's more, and it's not over.
You know what's wild? You and I have about like 5-6 years of friendship, but I haven't even met Derrick in a long-term relationship. I haven't even met Derrick who holds a baby one day.
Ah,
You know what I'm saying? I haven't
it's
even.
pretty big. That made me.
It got you right.
Yeah, I want that. I mean, honestly.
Right, and like
I've been in a long-term relationship, but honestly, you probably don't want to meet that Derrick. Straight
See?
up. Because I wasn't in touch with my emotions, my feelings. I was just not ready at that time. It was crazy to say I wasn't ready at 23 years old,
but it's
or
real.
or even probably 25. But now that I'm 26 and it's 2019, I just gotta say that she wasn't the right one at this point.
And it hurt you saying that.
Yeah, it sucks, but it is what it is. You know, because I want what you guys. You know, everybody wants that. Any single person who tells you that they don't want a relationship, they're crazy, because that's what we're here for. You know, who doesn't?
Everyone needs companionship.
Yeah.
And for the ones who are single and say, I don't need it, I got it all on my own, you have a pet. So you can't really say you don't need companionship or friendship, because our human nature is to grow in unity with community. Hello, it's spelled in the word. Like, you know, like that. It's
So
not.
what is that? Say that again. That's the message for sure.
You have to grow in unity through community. I'm grateful, man. I'm so grateful.
It's good. It's good. Do you regret college?
No.
There you go.
I needed it.
Me too.
I needed that.
Do you
I need the
regret-
experience.
Do you, if you had one takeaway, one thing that you went through growing after college?
What is the biggest takeaway?
Yeah.
Because you shared that it was the humbling experience for you.
I want to get it from you.
Humble without a doubt, 100%, but being okay to know it's not okay.
Yeah.
And understanding that it's okay to be uncomfortable and on edge. It really was after college when I realized I had depression all my life. But it was after college when I seen a therapist, and I was like, but I felt like this since I was 11. Like, what do you mean? Like, I went through college like this. What do you mean? I'm not depressed. And it's like, damn. I was struggling with mental health in middle school, in high school, and in college, and I never knew because I never asked for help. I didn't know it was okay to ask for help when you didn't feel okay.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
Well, and that's, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but I just want to say a term that I learned. It's some people are happy within their own unhappiness.
it's like ignorance is bliss.
Yeah. It's like it's not depression to them. They find that being happy.
Ooh, that's an icky place to be.
Yeah.
Because I that was me.
I've been there too.
Yeah, I masked mine with a bunch of things that I could be involved in. I was like, the more busier I am in my college life, the less I have to deal with what's really happening to me inside. And then, sure enough, after college, the more jobs I take on, the less I have to be present with myself when I go home to the husband. And that's deep, you know? And so I now, as Desirae Ramirez, have learned how to say no to certain jobs. I'm like, no, well, it pays this much. That's wonderful, and I'd love to collect that paycheck, but this doesn't help me with the boundaries I've laid out. And me and Ricardo both, we have grown together where we answer stuff like, does it take away time from me being a partner to my spouse? And is it for ego or is it for my marriage? And those are the three things we ask ourselves. So in any job offer that I get or he gets, it's, does it take away from my marriage? I mean, does it take away from me spending time with my spouse? Does it benefit my marriage? Or is it all my ego that wants this? Yeah. And those three things that determine it. So some months we struggle. Some months we're both like, we turned down so many jobs and we broke. Like, how are we going to pay this rent? But, you know, God comes through, man.
Always,
he comes through.
Always.
Yes.
Praise the Most High every single day. I promise you. Yes, because you got to feel that. I swear to God. No, I don't swear to God. Sorry.
I get
just
you.
negated it off. But for real, I just had a moment, like I said, recently, and I just know that as much as I want to say that I have control, I don't. And I want to, and that's why I say, if you feel like you're struggling with control issues and wanting to, you know, plan your whole life, you know, just let it go.
Yeah.
Just let it
Done.
go. Just let
Whole
it go.
episode. Life after college.
We done.
Yeah.
It's a wrap.
That's a mic drop.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here, man. If you want to follow Derrick and his journey and watch as he's becoming Wilson, you can follow him on these socials.
At Derrick J. Wilson.
I'll go ahead and write it out so you guys can see it in spelling as well. And then if you want to be able to start this new journey with Derrick as he's going into comedy.
Hey, what's up? I swear I'm not so serious. Jesus. Damn, just ruined my whole set. So if you do want to see me, I'll be at the Comedy Dojo, which is at Sycamore Tavern. Mo Funny Monday with Omar Gooding, Charles Allen, Jump Funny Productions. Thank you guys so much for these opportunities, and hopefully I get a little residency there. So let's keep it going. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Becoming Wilson, man. That's what's up.